there are some natural mechanisms which will be happening around us. Okay, so those natural mechanisms which have inspired for the invention of new things. Okay, so this is about this module 4. What are the natural things which are happening around us? Those things which have initiated for us to invent new things. Okay, under that we discussed first topic was the topic is echolocation. Okay. So this echolocation principle, which has led for the foundation of two main things, that was sonars and so this echolocation principle has led for the foundation of this invention of sonars. What was this echolocation principle? Mainly. So mainly it was found where it was found mainly. It was found in the bats, right? So bats and certain mammals like whales, they will use this principle of echolocation in search of their enemies. Okay, or if they want to go for hunt, okay, they will use this principle. What was this principle? So they will emit the sound waves, and when those sound waves, when they are hitting the target, okay, so those reflected waves, after analyzing the reflected waves, they are going to analyze the features of the enemy. What is the distance of the enemy from my place, and what are the features? What is the velocity with which that enemy is moving, and in which direction it is moving? Okay, so all those things through those reflected waves, these bats are going to analyze. Okay, that is the principle of echolocation. The same principle which was used in the sonars and the ultrasound. Okay, so second thing was. This is the one way of inspired mechanism, that is echolocation. And second, which we'll be discussing now, is photosynthesis. So this photosynthesis has led for the invention of two things. Okay, one is photovoltaic cell and okay, so that we will be discussing in this topic. Okay, so see, most of the answers you are writing no technical content. Okay, so see, the name itself is there, biology for engineers. Okay, so see, any subject you are studying, at least you should have the basic knowledge. Okay, that basic knowledge. With that basic knowledge, you can attempt any type of the questions. Okay, a basic knowledge in the sumne you vague answers further, it doesn't carry any sense. Okay, really. So at least ultrasonography, can't you write the answer for ultrasonography when you are in this level, when you are in the second year of your engineering? Okay, so use all the concepts and interpret your answers. Whatever it might be the question, first you write what is that. Okay, when they are asking about ultrasonography, first you define the ultrasonography and you write some few lines about ultrasonography. What was the natural mechanism which has led for the foundation of this ultrasonography? Okay, then you write the block diagram of ultrasonography and explain and advantages and limitations. Okay, that should be your answers. Point to point, few people have written precisely, and they are limited their answers to only half of the page. Okay, don't do that. At least when the question has come for 10 marks, at least they expect some 1.5 page or 2 page answers, 2 pages answer. Okay, so interpret your answers in a way that should attract the evaluator. Okay, ನೀವೇನೋ answer ಬರೀಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಬರೆದ್ರೆ marks ಅನ್ನು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so that is left to you. That is what I am saying. So theory subjects, when you go for the higher semesters, see, each semester in problematic. Okay, when you go for the higher semesters, all the subjects will be theory. So how to fetch the marks in theory subjects? So you have to develop that skill and always write the answers in points. Okay, and underline some important. Don't waste your time. Only the some Mahendra, only some important topics or important things or important keywords, you just underline it. Okay. So what is photosynthesis? Anyone? What is photosynthesis? So the process which is occurring in the plants, okay, and some of the animals like algae, okay. So this photosynthesis, what are the intakes for this photosynthesis? Sunlight, carbon dioxide, which is there in the environment, and water and the minerals which are there in the soil. Okay, so see the inputs for this photosynthesis process is the sunlight should be there, and water and minerals which are existing in the soil, and carbon dioxide which is existing in the atmosphere. What are the outputs of this photosynthesis process? Oxygen. Okay, so the main source is oxygen. So we are living today only because of this photosynthesis process. Okay, if there is no oxygen in the atmosphere, then definitely living organisms cannot sustain. Okay, so through the photosynthesis process, oxygen will be released and glucose. Okay, so that will be used as a energy source for the plants. Okay, so definitely there is an interconnection between all those things. If no photosynthesis, no living organisms, definitely. So if there are no plants, no living organisms can exist on this earth. Okay, so all these are all interconnected process. Okay, so this photosynthesis is the process by which all the plants and algae and some bacteria convert light energy. Okay, that is very important. So only this concept has led for the invention of photovoltaic cells and the bionic leaf. Okay, what is this concept? The conversion of the light energy into the useful form of energy. Okay, so here through the photosynthesis, what is the useful form of energy? It is glucose and starch. Okay, so that will be used by the plants, that will be saved as an energy source for the future usage. Okay, so that concept, conversion of conversion of light energy into the useful form of energy has led to the foundation of this photovoltaic cells. What is this photovoltaic cells? These are also called as solar cells, which converts light energy into the electrical energy. Okay, and similarly, bionic leaf, which mimics the process of the photosynthesis. Okay, this is otherwise it can be called as artificial photosynthesis. Okay, so artificial photosynthesis we will be discussing. So what is the main foundation for this invention of these two things is conversion of solar energy into the useful form of energy. Okay, so that is the main process of this photosynthesis. So photosynthesis, it makes use of carbon dioxide, it makes use of the water, it makes use of the minerals which are there in the soil, it makes use of carbon dioxide, water and solar energy, and converts it into the useful form of energy, that is glucose and starch. And also this process releases the oxygen, which is very essential for all living organisms. Okay, so as it is shown in the figure, it is clearly shown in the figure, you can see. Okay, it makes use of light energy, it makes use of carbon dioxide, and it makes use of minerals and water molecules which are there in the soil. Okay, and these are all the four things are the input for this photosynthesis process, and the outputs are shown here. It is oxygen and sugar. Okay, where this photosynthesis process takes place? It takes place in the leaf, right? Mainly it takes place in the leaf. Where particularly in the leaf? In the chloroplast. Okay, so the chloroplast, and there is a coloring pigment called as chlorophyll, which is the light absorbing pigment which is responsible for this photosynthesis process. Okay, the entire photosynthesis process, it takes place inside the chloroplast. Okay, so that is what it is shown in this downside figure. Okay, so the leaf, the enlarged version of the leaf, that is the mesophyll cell. Okay, and in that mesophyll cell, if you take that the components, that is, it is made up of many chloroplasts. Okay, so within this chloroplast, this photosynthesis process takes place. What is this photosynthesis? So as I said, so sunlight is very essential part, and this photosynthesis is divided into two main processes. One is light dependent and light independent. Okay. So the light dependent process, it requires the sunlight. Okay. Likit, ಯಾಕೋ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನೀನು? ಹೋಗ್ ಮುಖ ತೊಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡು. Say, I don't tolerate all these things. If you are in class, you listen, or else don't come for class. I'll give the attendance, no issues. Okay. So that is what light dependent and light independent process. Behaviors ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಓಡೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಏನ್ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇದೆ ಅದೇ ತರನೇ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ it is fine, I will obey. Okay, so when you are having so much of attitude, and that should reflect in your answers, okay, then only the weightage for your character will be more. Okay, so this is the process of photosynthesis. As I said, the inputs for this photosynthesis is the water and the minerals which are there in the soil, okay, and which will be taken through the xylem. This is the internal structure of the cell wall. Okay. So whatever the molecules and the water molecules and the minerals which are absorbed from the soil. Okay. So those things will be carried to the leaf. And another main input for this photosynthesis, solar energy, that is light energy. Okay. And the internal structure of this leaf, if you observe clearly, it will be having a small openings called as stomata. Okay, through that stomata only. And if you see this internal structure, it is having many chloroplasts. Okay, millions of chloroplasts are there in each leaf. Okay, so within this chloroplast only, the process of photosynthesis takes place. Okay, so through that stomata, that carbon dioxide will enter. Okay, and through this xylem, so whatever the minerals and the water molecules which are there in the soil, that will be entering. Okay, and another important source is the light energy. Okay, for the primary source of the light energy is sun. Okay, so and apart from these plants, this photosynthesis, it also takes place in some animals also. Okay, in certain species of algae and other animals. So they also prepare their food through the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so this is what the photosynthesis. Mainly you have to remember what is photosynthesis, where does it occur, okay, and what are the inputs of this process, and what will be the outcome of this process. Okay, so as I said, the entire photosynthesis process, it takes in the chloroplast. Okay, within the leaf, and there is a coloring pigment in the chloroplast, what we call it as chlorophyll. Okay, that is an light absorbing pigment that initiates the photosynthesis process. Okay, that initiates this photosynthesis process. And as I said, through the chains of chemical reactions, so this carbon dioxide will be converted into the energy source, that is glucose. Okay, and the water molecule is decomposed into H2O, is decomposed into the electrons, photons, and the oxygen molecule. Okay, and whatever this oxygen molecule which is released by the process of photolysis, okay, that is what we are inhaling, and we are living because of that oxygen which is emitted